The cursed cemetery. I've never been a superstitious person, but after that night, I can't walk past the old cemetery on the outskirts of town without feeling a chill run down my spine. It happened 3 years ago, and to this day, I still wake up from nightmares where I hear her voice, her whisper. How it all began. There were 4 of us, me, my best friend Jake, his girlfriend Sarah, and my sister Emily. We decided to spend the weekend in a cabin out in the woods, far from the city noise. Everything seemed perfect. Fresh air, a campfire, a guitar. But when night fell, the conversation turned to local legends. Have you guys heard about that cemetery? Sarah asked, leaning into Jake. She always had a thing for spooky stories. They say people go missing there. Oh, come on, Jake scoffed. Just old wives' tales to scare kids. But Emily, who usually stayed quiet, suddenly looked up. I know about it, she said. It's just a few miles from here. They say it's where victims of some ancient epidemic are buried, and that the ground there isn't right. I rolled my eyes. Yeah, sure, just stories. Sarah smirked, but there was a challenge in her eyes. Let's check it out. And that's when everything went wrong. The cemetery was on a hill, surrounded by towering trees. By the time we got there, it was close to midnight. The moon barely peeked through thick clouds, and our phone flashlights only lit up a small circle around us. The gravestones looked ancient, many tilted or completely covered in moss. The air felt heavy, like the earth itself was pressing down on us. Who's going in first? Jake joked, clearly mocking us. Let's just take a picture and leave, Emily suggested. She was clearly uncomfortable. We wandered deeper among the graves. Our footsteps echoed eerily in the silence, and the wind seemed to whisper something unintelligible. At one point, I noticed a gravestone that stood out clean, without moss or cracks. The name carved into it read, Asterisk. Catherine. Asterisk. Look at this, I said, pointing at the headstone. Why does it look so new? Maybe someone was buried here recently? Sarah guessed. But Emily grabbed my arm tightly. Don't touch it. What? I asked, startled. There's something written below, she whispered. Asterisk. Don't wake me. Asterisk. We froze. Jake tried to laugh, but it came out forced. All right. Let's go, he said. But it was already too late. Jake was the first to disappear. We were standing near that same headstone when he suddenly said, I'll be right back. Gotta step away. We didn't even have time to respond before he vanished into the darkness. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Sarah started to get nervous. Should we go look for him? She asked. No, Emily said firmly. We don't split up. But soon we heard his scream. It came from somewhere far away, but the echo carried it across the cemetery. We ran toward the sound, but the deeper we went, the stronger the smell of damp earth became. Our phone flashlights began to flicker, then died completely. Damn it, Sarah cursed. My battery's dead. We were plunged into total darkness, and then I heard the whispering. At first it was faint, almost imperceptible, but it grew louder and louder. Asterisk. You came. Asterisk. Do you hear that? I asked. Emily nodded, her face as pale as chalk. Sarah stayed silent, but I could see her trembling. Suddenly, the ground beneath us shook. A cloud of steam erupted from the soil, and we all fell. When I got up, Sarah was gone. Emily and I stood frozen. Her hand gripped mine so tightly that her nails dug into my skin. We need to get out of here, she shouted. But where? We were lost. All the gravestones looked the same now, and the whispering had grown deafening. Only one name repeated over and over. Asterisk. Catherine. Asterisk. Then I saw a figure. It was Sarah. She stood near that same headstone, her back to us. Her head was bowed, and her arms hung limply at her sides. Sarah! I called. She slowly turned around. Her face, it was white as marble, and her eyes, they were gone. In their place were black voids. Emily screamed and ran. I followed her, but after a few steps I heard her scream again. I turned around and saw the ground beneath her open up, pulling her down. I was alone. I don't remember how I got out of the cemetery. I woke up on the road leading back to the cabin. The police found me hours later. I told them everything, but they just shook their heads. There was no one there. No friend, no girlfriend, no sister. 3 years have passed. I moved to another city, but sometimes, especially on dark nights, I still hear that whisper. Asterisk. You came, asterisk. And every time I pass a cemetery, I feel the ground beneath me begin to tremble.